Hi, folks. It's John Matus with your TCM tip of the week. Our hope this week is to give you some just solid data entry tricks that you can use to minimize your time at the keyboard and get your data entry done a little bit more efficiently. So I'm going to show you some things that are not necessarily secrets, but we always find that people are unfamiliar with even though they're in the book, they're just easily glossed over or otherwise unfamiliar to many TCM users. The first thing I'd like to do is to show you this is a new course, and I'm just going to book this here at our office in Roselle, and I'll make it a BLS for healthcare providers, and I'm going to do it now starting on the 15th. I'm going to make that at 9 a.m. and just kind of give it a price arbitrarily, and we're going to save it that way. Continue for multi-sessions, sure. It's going to insert the first session for the 15th. I'm going to close it and close it again. And on refresh, you'll see that this class is booked on the 15th. Now, let's say that I'm going to try to do a schedule for the next couple of months, right? Let's say that I am putting in the weekly BLS for healthcare providers class. Instead of doing it all over, you can come here to this icon called Clone and essentially make a duplicate of it. And I'm going to tell the computer that I want 4 duplicates of this particular course for a total of 5. And what it's going to do is it's going to duplicate every aspect of this course: the location, the time, the date, the instructors and students if they're assigned. So you really want to do this with an empty course if you're just getting started and you are looking at a whole month and a half or 2 months worth. But once it's duplicated, what you'll find is that you can very easily go ahead and alter these courses. So you can come here to the Edit button and just change the date for the date that it's actually going to be held on. So you clone the 15th, but you're going to do 1 a week, so the next session would be on the 22nd. Now, something that will shorten your time a little bit is the date coding. You'll notice that the dates in TCM are always 2-digit months slash 2-digit days slash 4-digit year. But you don't necessarily have to key them in that way. So what you can do is you can simply go 10/22/14 tab, and TCM will format the date for you. Likewise, in the multi-session, which of course you have to change, 10/22/14 tab, and there it goes, all done. I can close, I can save, and then you're all set to go, and 10/22 is up here. Now, I can do the same once a month here. So 22 is our last one, 10/29/14, because we're doing them 7 days apart. Same thing over here, 10/29/14, tab, close, save, and the 29th is now booked. So as you can see, the use of cloning and the shortened date format, that would be 11/05/14, is going to save you some time. 11/05/14. You're basically going from 10 keystrokes, which is what you would be entering if you were actually going ahead and putting it into our format, down to 6 keystrokes, which is 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 2-digit year. So hopefully that'll save you a little time. And again, all TCM dates are function in that fashion. So whether you're typing into the course or you're typing here or any other field in TCM that has dates, you should be able to use that 6-digit format to speed up your day. So let's look at a couple of other useful tips here in terms of data entry. If I open a course and go to students, there is a shortcut here for entering student data that most people find pretty useful. For example, you may have a course where the students are not rescheduled. You may have a course where the ICU told you to come down and teach 8 people at your local hospital. Or perhaps a company in your neighborhood called and said, we just bought an AED. Please come down and train our staff. We're going to have about 12 people in the class. They didn't pre-register. They just told you to show up and be ready for 12. And you have to process 12 pieces of paper from your instructor who went out and taught the class. Now, you may be here looking to type in all of the information, and that would be appropriate. Just kind of keep in mind that in many of these cases, the part that really takes a while is all of the movement of your hands from the keyboard to the mouse and switching back and forth. So let me give you an example. if I'm entering the first student, we'll call him student 1. I can hit student tab, put in 1, and then I have to take my hand, drag the mouse all the way over here, hit new student, and then put in student 2. So the typing is not so bad. It's all of this stuff that takes a while. It's the lag between the data entry and the mouse operation. But you can avoid that with the use of Alt-N. So let me show you how this would work. I'm going to put in a different last name. I'm going to go with AA as the last name. And then instead of dragging my mouse over to the New Student button, I'm just going to hold down the Alt key and hit N as in Nancy. And it does exactly the same thing. Now, if you're keeping an eye on the bottom of the screen, AA last just popped up. So I'm going to put AAA last in there, Alt-N. Quadruple A last, Alt-N. So the Alt-N thing really speeds up your ability to do data entry because of the fact that it will keep your hands on the keyboard. And you can enter students much faster that way. So as you can see, I did a bunch of them much faster than I did the numeric students, meaning student 1, student 2, etc. Show you one more trick about this. This is the Enter Site Address button. In many cases, particularly when you're doing certificates that require addresses, the National Safety Council certificates are an example of that, but there are others. You need to put in an address to fill in some kind of placeholder in a certificate, like an empty line that you really want something to be in. It just doesn't look quite right if you don't put an address. Also, if you use inter-office mail, you might be able to successfully use the training location. Like if you had put the department here under the site. So if this said intensive care unit, you might be able to send these through inter-office mail pretty quickly if you're printing, say, a Heart Association self-mailer with the address on the bottom. But of course, you have to put in the address, and it's annoying to type in ICU or 123 Main Street, Anytown, California, 95555. So there is a quick trick that you can use to do this. So I'm going to put in the first name of the student, and I'm going to put in the last name of the student, and then I'm going to hit Enter Site Address. And what it does is it automatically pops in the address of the site, meaning the location of the course. And then I can combine this with the Alt-N trick. So watch what happens. Student, more address, tab, enter, Alt-N. Okay? So you see what I'm doing? I'm using the Enter Address button to pop in the location of the course address, and then Alt-N to shortcut it and send it and save it. So I want to do that one more time. Tab, enter. That keys in the Enter Site Address button, enters in the street, city, zip, Alt-N, saves it, ready for the next student. So again, this will let you do some data entry much quicker than before. So a quick word about this Enter Site Address button. It may not be in your version. We're releasing this version probably in the next 5 to 7 days. Right around the time of the webinar. It is one of the newer features, but it is a nice feature for, again, kind of automating the address of the student in cases where you're going to a workplace and you just simply need it for certificates. So I hope that one's helpful for you. So what we've covered so far, we did multi-clone, we did Alt-N, we did Enter Site Address. I just have to cover the support buttons with you a little bit. You'll notice this tab here. Again, it's possible you don't have this one today or as of the release of this video, but you will have it with the new version that we're rolling out next week. All it really is more access to us. Many of you who put in a support ticket or you want to look something up or want to have a meeting with one of our staff members, you need to go to trainingcentermanager.com to do that. And that can be a little bit on the annoying side, meaning that you have to open another browser window and search around. And, we've simplified this process just a little tiny bit for you. So let's say you have some questions about some of the TCM content. Knowledge base is always a great place to start. It's very, very likely the answer is in there. So rather than waiting for somebody to get back to you on a support ticket, you can just kind of pop it open. You can see our tips of the week in here, which is great. You can look at some terms. There's some webinar video in here and some troubleshooting tips. There's the Getting Started documents, which is the first beginning recommended steps for TCM. And then there's the TC manuals, which has all sorts of tutorials on each one of the sections of the product. So this is super useful stuff. It's searchable. You can log in and see previous activity. There's just no shortage of great tidbits in here. And it's totally accessible now just by going to this knowledge base link, which is, of course, in your support tab. You can open a ticket from here, so you can just click on that. And here's our ticket system. So you can say, hey, need some support, fill out the form here, submit it, ticket will be opened, all within TCM. And the download the meeting application, for those of you folks who do not have it, when you click on the meeting application, it saves and downloads TCM support, which is the product that we use for having web meetings when there's some trouble or we need to look at your desktop or otherwise just kind of help by going to your particular desktop to see what's going on there. So again, these will be available to you in the next few days within TCM. I have a few more things that I'm going to show you in Training Center Manager. One of them is this super special tab right here, but that's just a teaser. In the webinar, we'll talk more about this and the enhanced client portal so that you'll get to see some really neat stuff that we're doing for trying to appeal to corporate customers. So I hope this has been useful for you. I hope we managed to shave a little time off of your data entry burden. Again, our product website, trainingcentermanager.com. And once again, John Matus, thanks for listening.